Hi, welcome to my channel Ruby Knit, Crochet y Tejido. In this video I'm going to teach you how to knit this gorgeous brick lace motif because they look like bricks. I hope you guys like it and give it a try, and here is the list of material you're going to need to make it. If you are not already subscribed, please subscribe and click on the little bell, that way you get notification each time I upload a video. Remember, I make my videos in Espanol and English. Spanish and English. If you're receiving a Spanish video and you want to see in English, go to the main page of my YouTube channel that you'll find the English version in there. Also has some playlists. One of them is Ruby Stedman English tutorial. You'll find all my English tutorial in there. To make this brick lace stitch, I'm gonna use this leftover yarn, 100% acrylic, this netting needle, 5 millimeters. I have a round counter and marker. I already have a video on how to make this. You're gonna need other markers to separate each multiple of the motif, depending what you're doing. If you need marker, if you don't, you just continue without any. Just without this one, just a row counter or round counter, depend if you're working flat or in the round. This beautiful stitch you can work like I mentioned, flat or in the round. You can make a scarf, you can make shawls, you can make a baby blanket with a little bit of lace in between, or you can do in the round for a sweater or for a cowl or neck warmer. Or for a hat you do just a little, you know, a little one repetition of the motif, the 12 multiple, straight up, and you will have a little open work in your hat. That depends on what you're working, but you can work flat or in the round. I'm gonna teach you how to do flat in this video, and in the next video I will teach you how to do this beautiful stitch in the round. This stitch is multiple of 12 plus 4, and I'm gonna add 4 more for border. So depend on the project that you are doing, you will add 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 4 more. That's just part of the stitch, and then the border stitch if you want to do border stitch. For me, I'm gonna add 2 on each side. So depending on the project that you're doing, you'll add more border stitch if you want to, or you don't add any. It's up to you. But for me, I will do 2 motifs. 12 and 12 is 24, plus 4 stitches for those motifs, plus 4 more for 2 on one side of border and 2 on the other side. So that will be 12 plus 12, 24 plus 4, 28 plus 4, 32 stitches that I'm going to cast on in my needle for this demonstration. Now I'm going to leave a tail long enough to cast on my stitches, my 32 stitches, and I'm going to do a slip knot. And I'm going to cast on. So you'll cast on the amount of stitches you need for yours. And for this not to make noise, what I do with that end, that way it's not pulling. I just place it there and it's much easier. So let me show you the slip knot again. I wrap in my finger. I took it out like that, and then I pass, pull that loop, pull the 2 tails, and that's my first stitch. So for mine, I will cast 32 stitches. Once I have my 32, I will do a knot with the tail to secure the last stitch and my work. Here I have all my 32 stitches. I'm going to start with row 1. I don't want to do any border rows. I want to see how it looks starting directly with the stitch for shawls or a scarf, to see how it looks the border. And in all the row, the 2 first stitches and the 2 last stitches, they will be purl in both sides, and then I will work the stitches as you're supposed to for the motif. So these 2, they always will be purl. So I want to purl 2 for the border. Yarn to the back. I'm gonna place the marker. I changed the marker because the other was a little bit big and it dangle and make noise when I was recording in Spanish. So now we start with those 2 stitches from those extra 4 for the motif. So the 2 stitches are net, and I'm going to place the marker because those stitches are outside of the repetition. So that is like border for the motif. From this marker and the next 12 stitches is the repetition that you will do over and over, depending on the amount of motif that you are making. So you're going to start with 2 net, and this is the right side of your work. Each time the tail is in the front, and this round counter for me is the right side of your work. So you're going to net 2. Yarn over an SSK. I already have a video where I explain how to do an SSK. It's very easy. I'm going to leave the link here. You see an eye, you click on the eye, and you can go, oh yes, look what I'm doing here. It's very easy. So SSK is done in a knit stitch, so you have to do a yarn over. You only have to bring the yarn to the front for the yarn over, and you're going to slip and slip knitwise those 2 stitches, and you're going to knit those 2 stitches through the back strand. So by only placing your left hand needle in the front strands like this, you are ready to go. You bring the yarn to the back to knit, and you create the yarn over on top of your needle, and you're going to knit those 2 together, and that's it. SSK. Now you're going to knit 3. 1, 2, and 3. Knit 2 together. So the next 2, you're going to knit them together. Yarn over, knit 3. So you're going to bring the yarn to the front for the yarn over and knit 3. 1, 2, and 3, and that's your 12 stitches. I'm going to place a marker, that way I know that that's when the next repetition starts, and you're going to start all over again from this marker. You're going to knit 2, yarn over, SSK, yarn to the front for the yarn over, slip, slip, and knit those 2 together through the back strand. Create yarn over and top of your needle. Now you're going to knit 3, you're going to knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 3, yarn to the front for the yarn over, and you're going to knit 3. 1, 2, and 3. You're going to place a marker, and you're going to continue with those repetitions, as many repetitions you are doing for your project, and then at the end you'll end up with 4 stitches. Those extras 2 part of the stitches you will knit. I will place a marker, the way I know the last 2 stitches, they're always purl. Yarn to the front, purl my 2 stitches. And you down, row 1. Now row 2 and all the even number rows are purl, all your stitches. And so the 2 border stitches are always purl, and you just purl everything. I'm going to place this paper here, that way these don't make that much noise. So you're going to purl your 2 border stitch, pass the marker, and you're going to continue purl all the way until the end of row 2. Now is the yarn over coming up next, and the yarn over is just one strand in here, so you're going to purl in that strand. And you're going to continue all the way until the end. So remember all the even rows, 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, that purl. We're going to work on row 3. So again, purl 2 border stitch, pass the marker and net 2, pass the marker, and here is where I start the repetition. You're going to net 3, yarn over is SK, yarn to the front for the yarn over, slip, slip, net twice, and knit those 2 through the back strand, net 1, net 2 together, yarn over, net 1, yarn to the front for the yarn over, net 1, yarn over is SK, so yarn to the front is SK, slip, slip, and knit those 2 through the back strand, and just by passing your left hand needle through the front strand, your stitches are ready to go. So you're going to knit those 2 together through the back strand, is SK, and net 1. And that's a repetition that you will do over and over. Pass your marker, you will knit 3, yarn over SSK, yarn to the front for the yarn over, SSK, slip, slip, and knit those 2 stitches to the back strand, net 1, net 2 together, yarn over, net 1, yarn to the front for the yarn over, net 1, yarn over SSK, yarn to the front for the SSK, and net 1. And like that you'll continue with the repetition until you get to the end, to your 4 stitches, you'll knit 2 and purl 2. And now you'll turn your work around and you'll purl all your stitches in row 4. We're gonna work in row 5, and you're gonna start with your 2 purl if you're doing these 2 border stitches. You're gonna knit 2, now from here is the repetition. You're gonna knit 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over SK2PO. I already showed you in a small video how to SK2PO, but I'm gonna show you here. But anyway, I always leave the link in here that you can go and check it out a little bit more detail. So you have to do a yarn over. You have to bring the yarn to the front. You're gonna slip one stitch knitwise. You're gonna knit 2 together. You see, that's the stitch that you slip, and the yarn is in the front. And when you knit those 2 together, you're creating the yarn over, and here in the back of that stitch. And the slip stitch, you're gonna pass it over and cast it off your needle. And that's SK2PO, because a 2 stitch decrease, because you did 2 together and you cast off that stitch. So now you're gonna do yarn over, knit 3, yarn to the front for the yarn over. You're gonna knit 3, 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over SSK, yarn over to the front, and SSK. So you're gonna slip one stitch, slip the next one, and you're gonna knit those 2 together through the back strand. Just by passing your needle through the 2 front strand and knitting those 2, creating the yarn over in the top. And you done those 12 stitches. So you pass your marker, if you put it placing marker, and you start all over again. 4 knit, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over SK2PO, so yarn to the front for the yarn over. So you're gonna slip one stitch, you're gonna knit 2 together from the front with the yarn to the back. You knit those 2 in the yarn over in the back of that slip stitch. You grab that slip stitch and you pass it over. Now you're gonna yarn over, knit 3, yarn to the front for the yarn over, knit 3, 1, 2, and 3, yarn over, SSK, yarn to the front for the yarn over, and SSK. So slip, slip, and knit those 2 together through the back strand. And like that's the repetition that you're gonna do at number 5 until you end with your 4 stitches. You're gonna knit 2, and you're gonna purl the last 2. One, and 2. You're gonna turn your work around and you're gonna purl row 6. And now we are halfway through our design. We're gonna work in row 7, and in this row we had to remove the markers and place them back either in row 9 or in this one, back again, back and forth with the stitches, because this time we're gonna work in between those 2 stitches at the beginning and 2 stitches at the end, and between these 2 stitches in the center between the 2 motifs. That's why you need to have 12, 12, 12 plus 4, 2 for each end, because you have to work in those stitches as well, not just net stitches. It's part of the motif sometimes. And that is in this row that you have to do that. But it's really easy. So you're going to do your 2 border stitches. I'm going to pass the marker and yarn to the back. You're going to net 1 yarn over SSK between this stitch before the marker and the stitch after the marker. So you're going to net 1, yarn to the front for the yarn over, and I'm going to slip that stitch, remove the marker, and slip the next stitch, net those 2 together through the back strand. Now if you want to place the marker again, you slip that stitch into your left hand needle. You're going to place the marker and you're going to place it back. You see, now you have in between these 2 markers 1 stitch and the yarn over. You have the stitch back again. After that, you're going to net 3. 1, 2, and 3. You're going to net 2 together. Now you're going to yarn over, net 5. Yarn to the front for the yarn over, net 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you're going to yarn over and SSK between these 2 stitches, the stitch before the marker and the stitch after the marker. So yarn to the front for the yarn over, you're going to slip that stitch, you're going to remove the marker, slip the next stitch, get those 2 together through the back strand, and I'm going to move it back here and place my marker after the yarn over. Like I mentioned, if you like to place the marker in row 9, you can do that. You don't have to be passing back and forth the stitch, but it's easier to have the marker there in place already. And I'm going to count that way. You see between this marker and this one you'll have 12 stitches again. So you have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Number 12 is the yarn over. And then you're going to start, you see, in between these 2, you did the SSK. So that's the beginning, the SSK. You finish the yarn over and you start with the SSK in between those 2 stitches. But here in the screen you will see the row. I always going to leave the step by step and then you can follow that. Now you're going to net 3. 1, 2, and 3. Net 2 together. Yarn over, net 5. Yarn to the front for the yarn over. Net 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over, SSK. Yarn to the front for yarn over. Slip the first stitch. Remove the marker. Slip the next stitch. You see, that was the last 2 stitches. Put those 2 together to the back strand. You're going to place it back. You're going to place the marker after the yarn over. and you're going to place it back, and now you're going to knit 1, yarn to the front, pass the marker, and purl those 2. Yarn to the back, turn your work around, and you're gonna purl row 8, and like that start to look. Now we're gonna work in row 9. You're gonna start with your 2 border stitch. Now you go back to knit the next 2. You see, only in row 7 is where you work on those stitches that you have to move back and forth your marker if you're using marker. If you don't are using marker, you don't have to worry about it. In row 7. So knit these 2. Pass your marker. Now you're gonna start where the repetitions begin. Yarn over is escape. Yarn to the front for the yarn over is escape. Slip, slip, knit those 2 together through the back thread. Now you're going to knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 4, yarn to the front for the yarn over, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn to the front for the yarn over, and knit 1, the last one. You pass your marker, and then you start yarn over is escape. Yarn to the front for the yarn over, slip, slip, and knit those 2 together through the back thread. Knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 4, yarn to the front for the yarn over, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn to the front for the yarn over, knit 1, pass your marker, and you continue with that repetition with the yarn over all over again, SSK, and so on. At the end you pass the marker, knit 2 and purl 2. You see, it's very easy. It's folding a little bit. Let's see after I do a few repetitions how it looks. Now you're going to work in row 10. That is a purl row. Here I'm going to show you if you have to undo some of the stitches. It's very easy. Now we're going to work on row 11. And you're going to purl 2, border stitches, pass your marker, you're going to do 2 stitches, pass the marker, and the repetition will begin here. So you have to knit 1, yarn over SK2P, yarn to the front for the yarn over. So you're going to slip 1 stitch, knit 2 together, and when you're knitting those 2 stitches together, you see you're passing on top of your needle and almost on top of that slip stitch. You're going to grab that slip stitch and you're going to cast it off, leaving the yarn over in here. Now you're going to yarn over net 4, yarn to the front for the yarn over, net 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, net 2 together, yarn over, net 2, yarn to the front for the yarn over, net 2. You're going to pass the marker, and you're going to start net 1, yarn over, SK2P, yarn to the front for the yarn over, slip 1 stitch, net 2 together, through the front, you see yarn had to be in the front, net those 2 together, and you're going to slip that stitch off. Now yarn over net 4, yarn to the front for the yarn over, net 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to net 2 together, yarn over, net 2, yarn to the front for yarn over, net 2, and like that is the repetition that you're going to continue over and over until the end, where you pass your marker and you finish with 2 net and 2 purl, and then you're going to work in row 12, that is a purl row, and those are the 12 row repetitions that you're going to do over and over. I finished those 12 row repetition, and like that is how you're going to continue over and over until you have the desired length of the project that you're making. This is a beautiful pattern for a scarf, a shawl, even to work in a baby blanket. You will do some lace like this, and then some fold net or seed stitch or some cable, and then this, it will look gorgeous for an afghan, a throw. It will look amazing. So now I'm going to continue working off camera, well, in camera first, showing you how to do one more 12 row repetition, but I don't want to explain. I'm just going to put some music on, because I already left here in the screen from row 1 to 12. You'll write it on a piece of paper, or you go back again to the video and follow along. And after that, I will do one more repetition for a total of 3. That way you can see in 3 repetitions what the stitch look like. I recommend at the beginning, you see, I did this on purpose, starting with the stitch right away with no border. That way you can see how it look if you start with the stitch. So I recommend to do a purl row, a net row, and then you start with a stitch, or a C stitch row, and then you start with a stitch. That way you have a better base for your work. I decided to show you only 2 repetitions of the motif because you can see clearly what the stitch look like. It's absolutely gorgeous, and as you work more, it will look even more amazing. So I recommend to start with a row of purl and then go back with a row of net and then start the motif. But if you're making a scarf and you want to do some fringes, you can start like that because you will tie the fringes here in the border and that will be fine, and then you will finish on the other side either with the row of purl or net casting off or binding off, and you tie the fringes on the other side and it will look perfect. The width that I have here with this yarn thickness is perfect for a scarf. It will look gorgeous. This measure, I wanted to give it a measurement just in case you decide that you want to do a scarf. Measure 27 centimeters. That is a little over 10 inches and a half, almost 11 inches, like 1 centimeter short of 11 inches, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So this for a shawl, it will look amazing with a thinner yarn, a thick, a little bit thicker needle than that you're supposed for the yarn. It will look amazing because it will be nice and loose. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to work the stitch in the round, and then maybe after that I will do a shawl because I absolutely love the stitch. It's gorgeous. So I hope you guys like it, and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are not already a subscriber and you made the stitch or something with this beautiful stitch and you want to send me some pictures. You can do it through my Facebook page, Rubynet Crochet Tejido, or my Instagram, Rubynet Crochet Tejido. Please share my video with friends and family. That way you help me grow here on YouTube. I wish you have a beautiful day.